Just explain the living conditions that you've got, because you've got separate houses, obviously, but then you have, they've got a gravel yard which you need to cross to get access to your property.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so there is an agreed right-of-way here.
The right-of-way, to be clear, it was one property.
Yeah.
It's been divided into two.
Right.
And the property, which is ours, has a right-of-way over all their yard for both vehicular and pedestrian access.
Got it, as we can see in the picture here.
And so everything was pretty well okay until, and they had a young daughter, and they decided that they wanted to put up two sets of gates, the front gates and the gates closer to the house, to protect her, make sure she couldn't get out onto the street. Yeah. Okay, so when did it start to go wrong?
It started to go wrong when we used our access a little bit more. So initially the outer gates were placed for security of both properties, which we agreed, and then the inner gates were placed on the agreement that they would only be shut when their daughter was out playing. And this worked perfectly to start with, the few times it happened, because I would drive home and I would see both gates are shut, and I would think, she's out in the yard. So I'd be very tentative in coming across and driving to the other side. Yeah. Over a period of time, this developed where the gates were shut all the time, and I had my suspicions as to why that might be. Yeah. And then there was a point where I wanted to bring in two vehicles, and it was that point where it started to get a bit...
Because you couldn't fit two vehicles on your drive, and you asked if you could install these two concrete ramps, and at which point, this is when Christopher said to you, are you sure you've got right of access, and started to question this. So that obviously then starts ringing alarm bells.
Basically, there was bushes growing on one side, and then there was a raised curb. And then to get across to reverse two vehicles comfortably into our parking spots, I just asked for a concrete ramp. At that point, Mr. Hill, Chris Hill, and his father and another person I don't know who came out and basically said the right that I have to cross the land is restricted to an 8-foot strip. And if I wanted to bring in two vehicles, I had to reverse in and then inch forward and backwards to get that one over to my side and then bring the other one in.
Right, okay.
And that was the foundation of the dispute.
Well, you ended up calling them the gate trolls. Because they closed those gates, you felt like prisoners, and you say that they were placing obstructions so that you can get in or out.
So in order to go anywhere, you had to sort of spend 10 minutes just moving all the stuff out the way, drive out the gates, go back, put it all back where they'd left it, and then go.
Exactly.
So
there's a big difference between putting something that actually blocks you and putting something that you have to move out the way or have to drive and risk getting your car scratched or drive through bushes or something. And this was the tactics, basically.
When did the police get involved?
The police originally got involved when I handed a letter to Susan Hill. I felt I'd handed one the previous week, but this time I handed one over in person, having a friend witness it, having a friend read it, having a friend watch me sign it, and then I went over and gave it to her, knocked on the door. I mean, it's only 15 yards, knocked on the door. She grabbed the letter. I turned around, I put my thumb up to the friend in the window that couldn't be seen, and then 2 hours later we had the police around. And the police said, basically, that I'd substantially upset her and that I was not allowed to talk with them anymore. I was to do it through solicitors. And all subsequent police visits, virtually all, have said the same thing. Do not talk with them.
You also,
at their request, sorry.
Accused of assault, weren't you?
Yes.
Well, that was
my place of work.
At work.
Yes.
And what happened there?
Well, I was working. I was actually stood with my manager at the time, and Mr. Hill came in, picked up a loaf of bread, which was directly behind me, went off, paid for it, went out. The next thing I hear is I've got a phone call from work saying that I'd been accused of assault and verbal abuse.
And thankfully, your manager saw that hadn't happened. There was CCTV footage. But there were 200 accusations. It's a massive waste of time, police time
resources.
And money and resources. The police installed CCTV. And so you say that if you complained, it was days before the police came. If they complained, it was a matter of hours. Before they, so you,
sometimes instantly.
You think the police were biased?
Very.
Why?
Based on what you've just said?
Based on what you've just said. If I made a phone call to say this had happened, like take the co-op. They didn't tell me for 5 days. I had to go to the police to find out what was going on because he reported it not only to the co-op but also to the police. But they didn't come and see me or tell me.
What's this done to you? Because this is 4 years. This is your home. This is meant to be your sanctuary where you go and relax. This is supposed to be the most peaceful part of your life.
Of course.
The things that you would take for granted, I presume, being able to go to your front door and not expect to knock on the door from the police or be able to get in and out. We're getting that back now a little bit since the judgment. And it's only now we're realising that the effect has been devastating.
Yeah.
But because we're in the middle of it, we didn't see it. We would literally say, should we go out? For example, we'd say, well, let's go down to shops and get something. We say, no, we can leave that. Because we know that we have to film or we have to get prepared to go out. And so what we found is that over the time is that we weren't going out.
Yeah.
We didn't realise until...
Insular.
Yeah.
Well, it's been to court. Obviously, a civil court judge recently ruled in favour of you guys over rights of access, concluded that their neighbours, Christopher and Susan Hill, had deliberately placed the ornaments and pot plants and other items to cause maximum inconvenience. It's landed them with a large legal bill. Susie Hill's right of reply, she says, Grant Shortland and Melanie Heritage have always had a clear right of way over the driveway. They needed 13 feet and the access was never blocked. Plant pots were on the side of the patio. We had one gnome and it wasn't blocking the way. We put up gates for our daughter's safety and they were put in with the consent of Mr. Shortland. I don't believe they felt trapped in their home. Obviously, with something like this, it would be lovely if you could live together now, find a way to... It's been to court. Everyone is alerted to your situation. Do you think there is any... Because the police CCTV came down yesterday, didn't it? So,
Yes.
so is there any way that you can resolve this and be neighbourly?
I feel quite sorry for them in a certain way because they brought this on themselves. There have been steps along the way that we could have resolved this on many times and never has there been any comeback to try to.
So this was a conversation that you had on Twitter. Good morning, by the way. Lovely to see you.
Good
as
morning.
always.
No, it wasn't a conversation. It was a tweet that I put out pointing out my belief, which I'll come on to in a second, about positive energy and pulsed electromagnetism. And all I did was ask of the person you're referring to a question. I've never said negative thinking causes cancer. So your promo is wrong, and I object to that. But I want to be really positive. We've only got 6 minutes, right? So, may I tell you my two beliefs? I believe doctors and scientists who say that disruption of our immune system by negative energy makes you prone to diseases of which cancer is one. That is a scientific medical fact, and I agree with those doctors. The other belief I have is that pulsed electromagnetism can help with tackling cancer. Tackling it, right? You've got to do other things, as I know.
But you didn't say that in your tweet.
Well, why would I? I was talking about this device that I use. I just said I was using it, and it was my belief, based on my personal experience, that it helps with fighting, if you want to use that word. I call it tackling cancer. On November the 29th, 2013, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had had no symptoms whatsoever. Luckily, because I'm a very positive person, I have regular medicals. My doctor said, your PSA has gone up. I had some tests, and it confirmed, ironically, on my father's birthday, he died in 1990 of prostate cancer, it confirmed I had prostate cancer. Anyone who gets that kind of diagnosis knows that is quite an emotional moment. You go one of two ways. You either decide you're going to focus on living your life, or you decide you're going to resign yourself to living your death. I went down the route of finding out as much information as I could. And this is what I'm talking about. Find out the information. So the man you referred to, I asked a question of him.
You
Yeah,
said,
but what you said, yes.
is it possible your ill health is caused by your negative attitude?
A
And that's
question.
to a man who's got cancer.
Yes.
Just, if anything, it's insensitive.
Well, as somebody who also, until very recently, had cancer, I would ask that question. All I asked was a question.
What
So
about
he-
if it was that question is a question? If it's not an insensitive question, would you ask that to a child that had cancer? If it's about having negative energy?
I think you're completely missing the point here. I asked him a question.
But it would work the same, wouldn't it? If it's an energy
After
thing,
he
a
had
negative
sent
or
a particularly
positive thing.
unpleasant tweet, I asked him a question. The point here is there is information available to all of us who inquire. When I found out I had prostate cancer, I started to get out there and ask as many questions as possible. I changed my diet slightly, I exercised in a different way, I got a very small group of friends, some of whom experienced cancer, one of whom has defied the NHS by living a lot longer than was predicted. And I was in a position that I was able to carry on doing TV shows and be healthy. I then had my tumour destroyed by sound waves, proving yet again that energy is at the heart of this issue.
The thing is that there are some fairly top people who've come out here and said, you know, hang on a second, let's just clear this up, because cancer research specialist David Grimes, Oxford University, says it's not just untrue, it's patronising and it's victim blaming. Cancer is bad luck. You can reduce or increase your chances by making different lifestyle choices. But the healthiest people in the world get cancer, and it's not because they are negative.
I thought, very, very healthy. I know why I got my cancer, because I'd gone through a very stressful, very negative period in my life.
So the stress in your life gave you prostate cancer?
Yes, because stress is negative energy. The definition of stress is a breakdown of your body engineering system. I'm absolutely certain that it didn't just decide to manifest itself. There was a cause. You have cancer in you. You have it. We all have it. Something triggers it. I don't believe by what you say or necessarily what you think it triggers it.
The problem is...
It's outside forces that trigger it. And the reason I started the way I did, there will be people watching now, and all I want to do is encourage them. Get the information, because there's a lot of misinformation.
But the problem is, Noel, the problem is that, that this is all surrounding a machine that costs £2,315.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Well, it is, because...
No, Phil, you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
The science of pulsed electromagnetism has been around for a couple of hundred years.
I get that. A simple box that slows down aging, reduces pain, lifts depression, stress, tackles cancer. Yep, tackles cancer. That's the box you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's it. That's minutes and you feel ready for another exciting day. Yippee. And then you say what it is.
Did for me.
I get that. But obviously people are going to get a little bit sceptical with the fact that you keep banging on about this £2,300 box, well, you know the people who were making it.
Well, yeah, of course I do know. Now I do know Sam and Steve, who are two brilliant practitioners.
You say now you do know. Didn't you know before?
What do you mean, before what?
You said now I do know.
Yeah, I do know them. They are both osteopaths. They're professionals. They introduced me to the technology. Maria Robertson, who's the director of the company, I've known for 30 years.
But they've said the opinions of Mr. Noel Edmonds are his alone and do not reflect in any way with the opinions of us at EMP PAD. We had no discussion, input or prior knowledge of the content of Mr. Edmonds' statement.
Yeah.
We do not agree with it in any way, shape or form.
Fine. All I'm saying is, by using pulsed electromagnetism and a series of other things, I am now free of prostate cancer.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
But to go for your 13th, say, you've said to us that you're addicted to having babies.
Yeah, I'm literally addicted to having babies.
Can you not put that energy into looking after the ones that you've got? And
that energy does go into that, but I can't help feeling broody. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help wanting another.
Presenter Noel Edmonds, who during his very long career has experienced online abuse, death threats even, and an intruder in his home. Noel's something that you're going through right now as well. I mean, we'll come back to things that have happened in the past, but you say as soon as you saw Alex's case in the newspapers, you tweeted her, didn't you, to lend support?
I did. I don't know her personally, but I admire her as a fellow professional, and it had a resonance where I thought, yeah, I want to publicly say I understand and I support her. I think it's very important also to understand this is not just about people in the public eye.
No.
There are a lot of people, there'll be a lot of people watching now who go, yes, I am receiving this form of abuse at work, etc., etc. And clearly, we've all got to decide whether we're going to do something about it. I mean, thank you for this invitation to come on, because I'm not here saying, oh, poor me. I'm here because I'd really like us to think about where the responsibility for a solution actually lies.
Explain a little bit, Noel, about what you're going through and what you've been through, because over the years there's been sort of a catalogue of different experiences.
Back in the 70s, it was sort of, well, it's the price of fame, you know, it's fans and whatever. In fact, I was here a couple of years ago, and there was a woman outside, and I remembered her from when she terrorised me back in the 70s. She damaged my car, she turned up at my home when she was a young girl and whatever, and she had a rather odd way about her. I've subsequently had a guy who set up a website to kill me, and I had the option of bringing the police into this, and I went down a slightly different route. It was well publicised a couple of years ago that I met him, and it was very interesting because he went to pieces completely.
He agreed to meet you?
Yes.
Was it hard to get him to agree to meet you?
Well, he had a very simple decision. Either I went to the police, and the police advice was this was a criminal situation. He would have got a criminal record.
Yeah.
Or meet me, and I want to understand why you want to kill me. And, of course, the fact of the matter was he was a young man in his 20s. His sister did most of the talking. He broke down completely in this office in Bristol. And it was apparent that it had started as something light-hearted, but then it became quite malicious. And then, of course, he didn't realise what he had started. You know, what I want to...
Did you want him to know how upset you were?
Well, it was wonderful, because Liz, who was here, actually took control of the meeting. And right at the beginning, you'll like this bit as a woman, she looked him in the eye and said, "Why do you want to kill my husband?" And he went to pieces completely because there was no answer.
No.
He didn't want to kill me. Now, not everyone, and I wouldn't suggest that Alex should have gone down that route, but not everyone wants to confront these people.
Or can.
Or can. But that's an interesting point. When are we as a society going to strip away the anonymity that these people have? You know, we must encourage more accountability. We must encourage people to think before they press send on an email, post on a tweet. Why are they allowed to be anonymous? And I think there are three outcomes of it being more transparent. Everyone says go to the police, but we know the police are struggling with this. If you couldn't hide behind the anonymity, we are going to end up with one of three outcomes. We will find out if someone is mentally ill and then they need professional help. We will find out whether or not it is a police matter, and then the police can take over. Or we will find out that actually this is something where friends and family should say, why did you do that? Why did you send that? Terrible, terrible.
Make people realise what they've
We've
done.
got to, society is made up of individuals. We've got to decide whether this is the way we want to live, ruining people's lives, or whether actually we are all going to do something.
What about what's happening right now? So you say there is somebody right now...
Oh, it kicked off again a few weeks ago.
Doing what?
She sends me emails of an intimate nature, and then it became quite serious when she was accusing me of having an affair with her, and she wanted to go to the media and the public and out our relationship.
And you say she, you sound as if you're not sure.
Well, my professional advisors say they believe it's probably male. It's really interesting, this area, and I know we haven't got time, but please look at the work of a neuroscientist, David Eagleman. There's a series on BBC4 at the moment, and he has researched how the brain works. We're familiar with brainwashing. You know, it's been used by politicians and regimes for years. But what he's discovered is that the brain almost cleans itself and produces a new picture.
So it doesn't necessarily acknowledge that they've said what they've said.
So you start off saying, I love this person, and you can actually make a transition to, I'm married to this person. Or, I don't like this person, I feel violence towards them, and it can transition to extreme violence. And in the experiments, even the people doing the experiments went through the process and created a totally false impression of the truth. And that's what happens with a lot of these people. I mean, you showed Alex Jones. You didn't show the picture of the man that was given the restraining order. Look at the picture of him. He needs help. He genuinely needs help.
Yeah.
Look, he has a haunted face. A lot of these people are in a mental health area where they need professional help.
after this enormous search, is of course telling your sons, having to tell your sons that I'm so sorry, but Dad is dead. He's drowned. He's disappeared.
That was an absolute nightmare. I didn't actually tell them personally. Other members of the family did that on my behalf. But still, you know, it was my doing, and that is something that I will live to regret for the rest of my time.
Must be a hell of an actress. That's a tough thing to pull off.
Well, the emotions were genuine emotions, but for the wrong reasons. You know, I was in bits.
And then, of course, there's the stuff of movies that he's now disappeared, and you have to wait for him to be, you know, sort of declared dead and collect the money. For 4 years, he lived next door there was an adjoining door between the two houses. How do you pull that off? How when someone comes to the door, how often was he in your place and across in his?
Well, if we didn't have family or friends visiting, then he was mainly in my house. Fortunately, we had a gravel driveway, so if cars approached, we could hear them come. I was constantly looking out of the window. If the doorbell rang, I always looked to see who was coming, who it was. And, you know, we made a judgment call as to whether he would have to disappear or stay, or if he could stay perhaps
and you didn't say, did you
an upper floor.
Think at any point, saying to him, John, we can't do this anymore?
Often, many, many times.
And what did your sons say? Because they've lost their father, and then suddenly Mum's uprooting and moving to Panama, of all places. I mean, not a place that you'd probably brought up before, and suddenly you're moving. I mean, there must have been a lot of questions
I just know
there.
if my mum had said to me, after we lost my dad, right, I think I'm going to go to Panama. As a family, we would have said, what the hell?
A few years had intervened, and my youngest son in particular had travelled extensively. So to them, wherever you are in the world is just a plane ride away. It wasn't like I was deserting them. I think, given what they knew, they felt that I deserved an adventure, and they were quite pleased that I was going off to do something that I'd wanted to do.
So you go to Panama, find a house, and that's where the infamous photograph is taken. When that picture was taken, did you not think, oh my God, that's
yes.
dangerous?
Well, yes, I wish that had never been taken, but, you know, it was done in an instant. There was no forewarning that that was going to happen.
When you say you wish it had never been taken, does that mean that you wish you'd never been caught?
No, no. I knew that it would all come out eventually, and going to Panama, it wasn't to escape it. It was just another section of John's plan, John's scheme. He was convinced that he would get away with his story of amnesia. I never expected him to get away with that at all. But I was just relieved to think everything is coming to an end now and all the lies will end.
So when you come back, and obviously you're arrested quite quickly when you come back here, and the game is up, the two people that, you know, we all, when you're reading the book, and those two boys, your sons, Mark and Anthony, then have to be told that you have been living the most extraordinary, appalling lie.
Yes, and I'm dreadfully ashamed of that. I never should have done it, but I just didn't have the confidence to stand up against John and not take any part in it.
And you said that the thing that hurt you the most was in court, when,
yes,
I think it was Mark that looked at you, and you said you couldn't believe the depth of hatred in his eyes.
That was the first time I had seen them since the previous October when I left for Panama. And as he left the witness box, our eyes met, and they were just so dark and angry. And that was a horrible thing to witness.
I bet. Well, John pleaded guilty and he got 6 years and 3 months. You pleaded not guilty but were found guilty and got 6 years and 6 months. So your sentence was longer than his. How did you feel about that?
I always expected to be found guilty. I just hoped that there was a way that I could prove that I hadn't gone along with it willingly. And that was why I didn't plead guilty in the first place. When it came to sentencing, I'd been given no indication at all that the sentence would be anything as severe as it was. So that came as a total shock. Yes, I deserved to be sentenced. I committed a crime and I deserved the punishment. But nothing to that extent. I just wasn't prepared for that at all.
And so what about your life? Where does that lead you? Rebuilding the blocks of life, I guess. I mean, you've got a relationship with your sons now.
I have,
which you're lucky to have.
I am extremely lucky to have that. And when I was in prison, I really felt that I'd lost them forever. And that led me into a deep depression. But fortunately, I came through that with help. And I've managed to turn my life around. I made the best opportunity that I could of all that was on offer in prison as far as education. And I equipped myself with up-to-date qualifications so that I could find a job and give myself the best chance to start a new life.
For more of the same, just click here.
At 71 stone, if you reach your goal, how would you get to the food without help?
There's plenty of men who would love to be in Sid's position, so I
have people message me every day of just about, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. I mean...
Adele and Matt, tell me about your upbringing and how you guys got to this stage. I mean, did you have conventional lives and you just woke up one day and you thought, not for us, or did you evolve gradually, or did you start off like this, or what?
I think both of us had fathers that died when we were young through heart attacks, high-stress lifestyle, and I think when something like that happens in your life, it propels you into really exploring whether the conventional way is right and healthy, and when we decided to have a family, we wanted it to be balanced. We wanted both of their parents to be around for a long time, and so that's really probably was the beginning of...
Let's talk about, so we've done birthing, which you did all naturally, which, you know, a lot of women can go along with. But when it comes to medicine for your children, vaccinations, you're totally against this.
Yeah, I actually believe childhood disease is quite important to experience to build the child's immunity. And Ulysses has experienced scarlet fever and chickenpox, and we treated that naturally. And it really was...
With what? How did you treat it?
We really believe in supporting the body to self-heal. Just naturally that the child wants to fast and they just take on fluids, they reject food, and really if you just support the body's healing through herbs and supplements and just gentle medicine that comes from food and the wild.
And you're totally confident in that? Was there any point, maybe if this temperature's gone up, that you're thinking, oh, maybe a trip to the doctor might be the best thing?
No, not really, because I don't believe that bringing a fever down artificially helps the body. I believe the fever's there for a purpose, to clean the body out, and I think as long as it's not a dry fever, then it's perfectly safe.
Do you know, you guys, Matt, may want to do all that you want to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the world is accepting of it, and I'm sure it's a big battle to avoid conformity. I've no idea, guys, where you live, if you live in a conventional house, up a tree, in a tent, in a hole in the ground.
Love a tree, Eamon. Love a tree. Love it.
What is life? Where do you live and how do you live?
We live in a one-bed flat with a garden in Brighton by the sea. So we do have a lot of access to nature, but we are clearly still in a city. So we love the kids to be barefoot, but they're not barefoot all the time because of the nature of being in a city.
Adele, you're not alone there. Amazingly, we had a guest on this programme 4 weeks ago who was here to talk about something completely unrelated, and she had no shoes on and she didn't wear shoes ever.
Okay.
And I said we're going to have her back to talk about life without shoes. So it is amazing how things crop up.
It makes the feet stronger, actually. It's a lot of people worry about the feet getting injured, but it's the shoes that make them soft. And
I noticed there, Ulysses, who's 5 now.
Yes, he is,
he was grabbing at your breast there.
Yes,
now, you still breastfeed
He
him,
is, yeah.
Which a lot of people do. There's a lot of controversy, isn't there, about the age when to stop breastfeeding.
There is.
How often would he breastfeed?
It really depends on the day. He does it really more at home, when he's feeling tired or needs comfort. Not so much when we're out, but if he is feeling a bit emotional, sometimes he asks to, and that's fine with me.
Yeah. And you would be fine if he was feeling anxious now and wanted to breastfeed, you'd be very happy to do that in public. Now, the other thing is, it's fine with us, they're jumping around on the sofa. If I know in terms of parenting and rules, you say you don't really have any. So if you said to him, I mean, obviously, Star is much younger, but if you did say to him, sit down or shush, or do you believe in that?
Yeah, no, we don't have rules. He would do as we ask. We speak to him respectfully, knowing that he's an equal human being to us. He is a highly sensitive child in nature, so he does struggle with getting overwhelmed easily. So it's even more important for him not to have strong, authoritarian discipline, because he doesn't react well to it.
What about education?
Education, we are taking the unschooling route at the moment.
Unschooling?
Yeah.
So not homeschooling?
No, unschooling, that's right. It's home education, but it's freestyle. You don't follow the national curriculum, you follow their lead.
So you follow your own, his lead?
Yeah, whatever he's interested in, we provide the opportunities for him to learn about it at that time.
So there will be people, particularly educationalists, who say, well, what about the basics, counting, reading?
I mean, lots of
Where would he be at in compared to other children, possibly,
yeah,
that you know in a...
basic recognition of letters and numbers. He can count up to, I think it's 20 now.
Do
but
you
a lot of
do
schools
technology with them? Do they do computers and things like that?
Yeah, he does the iPad at home. He watches all this stuff and he navigates around that. But a lot of schools in the rest of the world don't start their children till plus 6 or 7 anyway.
It's the way you lead your life, and we do have to point out, I mean, obviously there are conflicting advice, official advice about vaccination and whatever. It isn't in line with what you would say, or using sun cream and whatever, but it is your life. We're just reflecting your life and how you guys are living it, and it works for you, and you plan to take it much further. You plan to become more eco-friendly.
We do. Our ultimate aim is to get out to Costa Rica and live off the lead. Yeah, it's not a definite destination, but somewhere similar.
And would you ever send the children to a conventional school?
If he asks to try later on, I've always said I'm open to that. Yeah, it's not about me dictating how, as he grows and he becomes more aware of the world, he can try meat, he can try conventional school. It's totally up to him.
Well, that's Adele and Matt Allen. That's their way of living life with their children. They all seem perfectly happy, very, very good. And we're getting your comments in on those. We'll reflect those as the programme goes on today. Guys, thanks for coming in and explaining all of that to us.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
She's so boring that she's perfect. She's just, this is it all the time.
That's what she does. That's what she does. And you've got her name tattooed on your calf, haven't you? Oh, look.
I'm sorry?
You've got her name tattooed on you. One person who knows only too well what a devastating impact bullying can have is Made in Chelsea's Ollie Locke. He joins us now alongside bullying victim turned bully, Denny Lees, and anti-bullying campaigner, Sue Jones. And welcome, all of you. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Sue, it was your charity that published these findings. What were they?
Well, we started to look at it from last year. We started to look at why are people actually bullying and looking at the root causes of that behaviour. And that was the main focus behind it. We repeat at least half of the findings every year, but we started to look at what's going on for young people that are bullying.
And something you found was that it starts at home, an awful lot of it.
In a lot of cases, there's bullying at home or arguments at home and dynamics, stresses and traumas, family breakups, death of relatives, and these are real clear triggers. We'd heard this anecdotally before, but this is the first time we had hard facts and data to know what's going on for young people.
50% of young people questioned said they'd been bullied at some point. The tricky thing with bullying is that bullying for one person is banter for somebody else.
It's very subjective, I completely agree. But we have very clear data that says for the 44% that end up feeling depressed, the 31% that will actually consider suicide, or they might go on to self-harm. These are really clear data, and that needs to be taken very seriously.
And bullying takes many forms. And for you, Ollie, you originally, when you first started bullied, you were 7 years old at primary school, not from another child, from the teacher.
It was a teacher, and when you're that age, or any age, you trust the teacher as much as you can. And this was a really awful situation. I was sick every morning on the way to school, and mum nor teachers could work out what was wrong with me.
Never told anyone?
And it was this, I never told anyone. And I think that's the main thing that I'm here for, is to make sure that people go and tell people. Because 40% of people don't. And it's so bad, and I lived a horrendous life.
But you don't tell...
You had it through your primary school days, but then also at 19 and 20, you had it at uni. And you would think that university, you know, we are accepting, we're bright young minds, that they wouldn't be judgmental in any way.
Yeah, it went completely the opposite way. I trained to be an actor and then moved off to go and do property in an agricultural university. And they didn't like me very much. A lot of them didn't like me, some of them didn't take good to me, and then decided to do awful things, throw pints on my head over nightclub doors and stuff, and wee on my car. Yeah, throw bottles at me, pints over my head.
What effect did it have on you?
It was that awful feeling of just not being... You think you're an adult, and you think that's finally you're in this kind of grand scheme, big word world, and you're not. You're actually just a child again. And you don't want to tell people because it's awful, but it's happening all around. I was speaking to someone yesterday that was saying in their 60s they were being bullied. And this is happening everywhere. And it's my chance now to try and tell people to go and talk to people, because they just don't.
Well, Denny, your life started out where you were at primary school and you yourself were being bullied.
Yeah, from a young age.
And so what sort of things were happening to you then?
I've always suffered with my weight, so I've always been big. It started really, I probably was about 5 or 6, and I remember the first thing happened when there was 2 boys and a girl got me on the playground, started whacking bags around my face, I went home with a black eye.
And this is primary school?
Yeah.
So you were incredibly young here, and the tables turned dramatically when you got to 13 and you fought back.
Yeah, one of the bullies from my primary school, when she come to secondary school, she was a year above me, and she followed me home from school and attacked me. So I fought back, and I ended up getting the better of her then.
And you were 13 at the time, and you got a caution?
Yeah, well, I got GBH on my criminal record now.
Right.
Wow.
We'll come to that in a moment, because
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people who might be, you know, forced to either retaliate or be the bully, it's incredible the impact that can have on your future life. The power went to your head.
Yeah, because then it got to the fact, like, everyone kind of knew that I used to get bullied, and then when I fought back then and got the better of her, then it was like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? So
don't mess with her.
Yeah, and then I was like, and then I did enjoy it. Then I'm not, you know, I probably shouldn't have, but I did, because it did go in my favour.
Well, then others looked to you for protection and support.
I used to get a lot of the people that was getting bullied come to my house in the morning and ask to walk to school with me. If they was getting bullied by people, they'd say, can you go and have a word? So I'm not, I don't get bullied by them.
Who did you bully?
It's not that I wouldn't, like, go out of my way to bully people in a sense, but I'd just try and, you know, have a laugh. And to me, I'd think it was funny, but obviously now I know it wasn't funny.
And even though you knew the impact of what it was like as a 7-year-old, having it reversed onto you, you still did it yourself.
Yeah.
But this goes back to your original point, which is there is a lot of similarities between the bully and the bullied.
Absolutely.
And in fact here, same person.
Yeah. Well, people are twice as likely to bully others if they've experienced bullying themselves. They're kind of coping strategies. And there are huge similarities between, even in terms of physical health. So young people who have been bullied are around 29% to say they constantly suffer from ill health. 27% of those who are doing the bullying will also say the same thing. There's massive similarities between the two.
And for you, Ollie, the point that you made is that if it's happening, then talk to somebody.
I think it's the most important thing. It's what people don't do, is they don't talk about it. And I think they're nervous, they're shy, they don't want to seem this whole sissy word, all that kind of stuff. It's rubbish, and people need to talk about it to get this all sorted out, because it's become so ridiculous, and it's affected everyone.
And it's much easier now to bully someone because you've got access to them via their phones and their tablets.
That was something that I also got involved in because of seeing people on Made in Chelsea get bullied by social media and by people sitting behind their screens, and the girls get an awful time, a lot of the time.
Well, thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for coming in.
to see you.
As Team GB return home from Paris triumphantly with an incredible 65 medals, we are joined by some of the amazing athletes who made it happen.
Yes, despite giving up on her dream of becoming an elite runner 7 years ago, Georgia Bell turned it all around, winning bronze in the 1500-metre final.
And after starting climbing at the age of 7, Toby Roberts made history at just 19 years old when he secured Great Britain's first ever gold medal in the sport.
And Izzy Thorpe and Kate Shortman also broke records when they won Team GB's first ever medal in artistic swimming after clinching a silver.
And we are so thrilled to say they have just arrived home. They are all joining us now. Guys, a massive round of applause. Come on.
Well done, you
guys. Well done. I mean, George, we've got to come to you. Congratulations, first and foremost. But you gave up running at one point.
I know. I quit. I never thought I'd be good enough. Just went into the working world, and then just through COVID, really got back into exercise when that's all you can do. And yeah, kind of escalated now.
Georgia, how long hadn't you run for?
I hadn't stepped on a track for about 5 years.
5 years, and you've gone on to win a bronze. Can you actually believe it?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's still very surreal. When I quit, I knew I kind of hadn't fulfilled my potential, so it was quite sad, and I kind of never thought I would go back to it, but then just so happy over the past few years, seeing the fitness come back, getting in contact with my old coach, and just getting better and better. And yeah, I was just so happy to be there and bring home the medal.
But your story is so surreal because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, up until May, I think you were working in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
It's now August, you've got a bronze around your neck.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I know. So I was working full-time until recently. Work gave me a work-supported leave over the summer. I went to my boss and said, please, can I try and make the Olympics? And
Do you mind if I just pop to the Olympics for a couple of days?
Pretty much. And they've all been really supportive and doing watch parties in the office. So
incredible.
Yeah.
It's a lot of juggling, isn't it? But you had a really good partner to support you as well, didn't you? And a really good family.
Yeah, absolutely. Family and my boyfriend have been so supportive. You know, they always thought I could do it, even though it was a little bit of an unconventional route. So yeah, very lucky to have them.
Well, we're very lucky to have you here today. We know how tired you all are. You've literally just got back. Toby, a massive congratulations to you. The first ever gold in climbing. This is incredible. And you're 19.
I am.
19 years old, and you were sat there with a gold medal wrapped around your neck. What on earth is going through your mind right now?
I mean, the last few days have just been absolutely crazy. Training for so many years with the dream of going to the Olympics, and then going there with getting rid of the expectations, and then leaving with a gold medal is just it's like a dream come true, and it has not really sunk in yet.
Oh, I mean, Tobes, you have been nicknamed the UK Spider-Man. They also call you Toby the Terminator, and you have been like this from a very young age. And your dad spotted your amazing talents, didn't he, when you were very young?
Yeah, I mean, I've always just sort of had a passion for climbing things, whether it's like climbing trees, or my parents said I used to like climb out of my cot when I was younger. I've just always had a passion for climbing. When I found the sport when I was 7, it almost felt like a bit of a gift. I was just so happy to have found something which I was so passionate about, and yeah, just step by step, like I just kept going and I just kept enjoying it, and yeah, to be sat here now having almost fulfilled my dream is just...
Well, not almost, you have.
Yeah.
You've got the gold,
Yeah,
Tobes, you've done it. And it was you were 12 when you were like, I'm going to the Olympics.
Yeah, so when I got introduced into Tokyo for the first time, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to stand on that stage. I want to go to the Paris Olympics, and now to be sat here, it's a dream come true.
Well, it's incredible. It's lovely to have you. It really, really is.
And,
what an inspiration.
You're all Olympians, and what you didn't realise is, you know, you need that support from the special people in your life to be able to do what you do. And your dad has been a real support network for you, hasn't he, Tobes?
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't have been possible without all the support I've received from my parents. It's one thing to go and do it, but it's about the people it's like a team effort. It's about like the whole team around you who gets you to the games, who like keeps you level-headed. And
was he into climbing himself, your dad, or?
No. So when I found it in like the after-school club, he sort of.
Well, this is just literally from an after-school club.
Yeah, it's like an after-school club. And then.
I mean, I think I was over the park, like with my mates on the swings, and you've got a gold medal wrapped around your neck.
Cider, I would.
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. We've sort of learned about the sport together, and that's what's been really nice. And I've always got him there in the competitions. I trust him 100%, and it's just a really nice relationship.
Well, honestly, your story's incredible, and I know you're sat next to Kate and Izzy as well. Girls, your story is incredible, because I could be sitting here speaking to both of your mums. Because your mums used to do exactly the same thing as you two. They were together, now you two are together, and you've got silver medals wrapped around your neck. This story is just, it's mind-blowing. Surely they're going to make a Hallmark film out of this.
It's a film. It does feel like a film, your story, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we've done them proud, and, you know, they were swimming together when they were younger, and we've kind of carried on, I guess, that legacy in a way. So they just missed out on the Olympics, unfortunately, but I think we've kind of like made them proud in our way. Yeah.
So how old were your mums? Because your mums are best friends. So how old were your mums when they became best friends?
So they've kind of known each other, I guess, same as us, like forever. They all used to do artistic swimming, and like all our families know each other because they did swimming and water polo, so everyone was at the pool together. And yeah, they did a duet together, they did a team together, obviously just missed out on the Olympics, and then they introduced us to the sport and they coached us right from our very first like taster session, and now I guess it's such a full circle moment, like they've seen us compete and win a medal at the Olympics. Like,
but how is that? Because I could not think of anything worse than my mum coaching me to try and win an Olympic medal. Could you imagine, Linda?
That would be
I mean, I'd probably knock the cauldron over. The torch would go out. It would be terrible.
yeah, there were times like that.
Well,
yeah.
but this is what I'm saying, because obviously they know what they're talking about. They're incredible at the sport themselves. That's obviously how you two have got into it.
Yeah.
But was there times it was like, Mum, leave it out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, we were training with them since we were about 9, 10 years old. So we've gone through that whole journey of life with them. I mean, it's amazing now to look back and think, oh, they've been there throughout the whole journey. But there were definitely a few arguments at the pool during those teenage years. But yeah, it's been so worth it now. And we're really happy that we got through it.
And for them, obviously, they didn't make the Olympics themselves. What was it like for both of your parents to see you both standing side by side on that podium?
Oh, I think it would have just been such a special moment. Like, I haven't really got to speak to my family properly and see them, so I haven't really even been able to speak to my mum and have that conversation yet. But when I get home, I know that it's going to be so emotional, and
yeah, it's going to be a lot of tears, I think.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, getting ready for that.
What does it feel like, to wear those medals? What does it feel like?
Well, we just spoke to this before. I just said, you've got, not only have you got the medal, you've got a bit of the Eiffel Tower in them as well.
Yeah, they're such nice medals as well. They're definitely
gorgeous.
quite heavy, but yeah, it's just, I don't have any words for it really yet. It's not even sunk in. It's been, I think, 3 days, and it's just been a whirlwind. So I've not really come down and really realised what's happened yet. So.
Well, you guys haven't even been home yet, have you?
No.
Straight off the train from Paris, you're straight in London. Where are you going to keep the medals?
That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Because we'll look after them for you if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might keep mine around my neck forever.
End up with a bit of neck ache.
Yeah.
I would be like that on a night out. Look at me. I'll have half a lager and lime, please.
That was me. That was me. Guys, a massive congratulations, not only just to yourselves, but you did it for Team GB as well.
Yeah.
So a massive well done.
you.
Can we have a round of applause for our Olympians, please?
Fantastic.
Congratulations. Go home and just have a little lie down now and enjoy yourself for a little bit. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Get home safe, you
so
lovely
proud
lot.
of you guys, so proud.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Chris, good morning and congratulations.
Good morning.
Hello. Have you had any sleep yet, Chris?
I went to my bed and I proceeded to look at the ceiling for 5 hours, and then I got 2 hours sleep. So, yeah, kind of successful.
And it's 3-metre synchronised diving. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it was crazy yesterday. The atmosphere, the crowd was so intense. And then going into the last round, we were in first place. So to hold that up under that kind of pressure well, I'm really proud of myself, to be fair.
I'm sure you are.
It's really hard to mess it up.
Just before that dive, I always think, I've been on a high diving board once. I didn't actually dive. I just looked at the pool and went down again because it was so horrible and scary. What goes through your mind when you're waiting to do a dive? The two of you standing there, what do you talk about before? What's in your head? How do you focus?
We both have our individual routines, so we're both listening to music and just warming up and stuff. And then we go to our coaches and they give us a few comments about the dive or whatever we're about to do. And then we basically just go up there and do it. I literally just think about one word. That's how I always have done it at a competition. It's literally just one word because I'm quite a basic guy and I feel like I'll get confused otherwise. So yeah, I just think about that one word and it seemed to work yesterday.
Yeah, I'd love to know what that word is.
What's the word? Can you say it on daytime television?
Yeah. No, it's different on every single dive. It's just a key word on each dive. Things like arms, or which it doesn't seem like much, but it's about the position of my arms. So Like, yeah, it's just literally one word on each side.
It is unbelievable how much movement you get into such a short distance. I noticed that, Chris, the two of you are diving into that green pool, which a lot of people have been talking about. What do you make of that?
Oh, what, the swamp pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, it's something that I've never seen before. It's not dangerous, we've been assured by everyone. It didn't taste any different, obviously, because accidentally you do kind of drink some of the water. Tasted fine. Also, you know, it kind of helps in a way, because when you're spinning around, sometimes seeing a blue sky and a blue pool is quite difficult, but green pool is pretty easy. So, yeah, it kind of helps in a way.
It's helped.
You know, but Chris, it was great seeing you. And when we hear about your backstory about this ruptured spleen, I'm thinking, did he rupture his spleen by hitting the water in a bad way, or what happened to you?
Well, the doctors don't really know how it happened. It is possible that it was during a dive, as I was doing 10 metre, which is the high board, so there's a little bit more impact in that sport. So, yeah, it's possible it was that, but, yeah, basically ruptured my spleen and had 5% chance of surviving the operation, and then went into a coma afterwards. So, yeah, it wasn't the best period of time in my life. Yeah, it was incredible. Like, it's just a moment in time that will never be forgotten, especially there with my best mate, Jack. We're really close, and, like, it was just an incredible feeling to win that medal.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, you literally jumped into his arms at one point. And you two live together, don't you? So you can train. Thank you, darling. So you can train all the time. So you're flatmates as well?
Yeah, we do. We live together. We've got a mortgage together, actually. So, yeah, we're pretty close. I think that really gives us a competitive advantage, as we're just so close and so in sync with everything. Yeah, so it really works out this way for us.
Chris, I was saying today on the news that when you win a medal, Team GB have a lounge area, a party area, where you go to afterwards. Is that right?
I have heard of this place, and I am going to give it a little visit and see what it's saying. Cannot confirm yet, though, but I will confirm at a later date.
You do that. Good man.
Enjoy
Every minute of it. And say hello to Jack as well. Jack Law, thank you very much indeed. Congratulations. Gold stars for both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Girls, you do look lovely, but I'm sorry, can we cut this? Cut this, please. Sorry, no, look, I'm having a really nice time. It's your second time doing this. Right. And I just want a low-key affair. Girls, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go.
Don't look so sad. You've done an amazing job.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get paid. Go on, off you go. Go on, you can go. Go on. Thank you, darling. Take your wings. Take your wings.
Take them with you.
Leave the parrot. OK. Thank you, girls. Yeah.
The pineapple's
Let's start again.
intact.
Yeah, let's start again. Good morning.
Bobby, this didn't hurt at all. No? And the idea is, have you had this before?
Yeah, I've had it 4 times. I had them done yesterday and today.
And could I ask you, Bobby, how long do these last? How long will they stay on you?
5 or 4 days.
Yeah. When I was your age, I used to go down to the newsagents and get tattoos, and we used to put them on, used to put water on them, and I know you're looking at me and thinking, what is he talking about? But they were so tiny. Look what you've got. Incredible, incredible.
And Tiana, tell us what's on your arm. Hold your arm out and tell us what you've chosen.
There's flowers and leaves, and there's clouds and there's fairies and
flowers and
unicorns and stars and a tiger and.
Okay, and why they're very pretty? Why did you want a tattoo?
It's because Mum. I wanted a tattoo because my mum looks really pretty, and I want a real one, but with not a needle.
No, not a needle. You don't want a needle.
That's the thing. Now, we want to look at Mummy's tattoos now, right? Mummy is going to model here. That there is a difference with your tattoos, Mummy, yes?
Yeah, mine definitely don't come off.
They definitely don't come off. Have you ever wished that they could come off? Have you ever had second thoughts and thought...
Never.
No?
No.
How old were you when you had your first tattoo?
I was 20, I think, when I got my first one, so I was quite old, really. and then they kind of grew from there.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure, you know, there will be people watching going, oh, I don't like this. You know, although these aren't real, they look very real compared to the ones Eamon's talking about that we all had as kids, which we stuck on with water.
Yeah.
And I think the worry is that people will think, well, you're almost encouraging them to have a tattoo way before they would be allowed to have one, which I think is 16 now, isn't it? What do you say to that?
I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, she can't get one before she's old enough to have one, so she's not going to get one. It doesn't bother us, like, she just wants to be like me, and I just think there's no harm in it. It washes off, it's not permanent, it's not harming her.
But it doesn't just wash off overnight, does it? Because they're kind of, would you say semi-permanent, so they last 4 or 5 days?
They can, you can get the ones that wash straight off, they do them, but if you use baby oil on them, it can wash them straight off as well, so you either leave it to fade or wash it off.
Vicky, I can't see. Have you got tattoos?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
You do?
I've got a few of them, but
relatively small scale?
I have a big portrait on my leg of Bobby and things like that, so just in places that you can't really see every day.
And so therefore, would you accept that that is something that influences Bobby as to what he wants? And are you sort of imposing your love of tattoos on him?
Not really, because he's never really mentioned anything about mine. I mean, he asks what they are and did they hurt and things, but it's really just a bit of fun for him. It's something new, it's a new experience for him to enjoy, and he likes showing his friends and like joining in with me. So when I'm doing things with Vicky, I mean, if you check our Instagram page, and not just a pretty face page.
This is Vicky who actually does these.
Yeah, and we're going to see these. If you're wondering how this is done, this is how they're done on the children. A professional tattooist puts these on, and
so
remember,
it's a stencil.
Yes, this is not being injected into their skins or anything. The question we're just asking: is this all fine, or is this setting, you know, the wrong example? And I think tattoos are certainly far more socially acceptable these days, aren't they?
It's such everyday life now as well. Like, everybody really has tattoos in this day and age, and I just think with Bobby, it totally changed his perspective on having a real tattoo, because he enjoys being able to wash it off and choose a new stencil and choose a new design, which has made him like kind of think about not getting a real tattoo.
What about school, Tiana? What about your friends at school? Have you ever been to school with this, or do you always have to wash it off?
I've been to school with one on before, and my friends really liked it, and they said, where did you get it from?
So I'm surprised she was allowed to be at school with that on.
Yeah, but she wasn't really allowed to be in, but I let her go in for one day, but the teachers were really nice about it. Like, one of their teachers was taking a cardigan off and like showing her arm around the class, and they were good with it, and then obviously I took it off the next day. But I mean, like they say, they knew it was a bit of fun and the kids thought it was great.
What about reaction from other parents at school, friends? I mean, we were talking about birthday parties and things. You were saying that, you know, look, kids go and have their face paintings done at birthday parties.
At the school when I've went to collect Bobby before, when he first went into school, his school's been really supportive with it. And when I came out, all the mums were like, such and such has asked, where did you get the tattoos done? Does she hire for parties? Can you book her for adults and things? It's not just for children. And everyone who I've met have been like amazed by how good the design is, how realistic it looks.
Yeah. It's all positive feedback I've had from them.
You say that until you go to social media.
Well,
and you'll get fors and against. You know,
yeah, you will. Everyone's
this,
always going to have an opinion, aren't they?
Anything there, Ruth? Too?
I can't find anything at the moment. I think mine seems to. Oh no, hang on.
There, I don't see the difference between this and face paint. Not doing anyone any harm. Please let them have fun, says Mia.
And
there with that.
How much fun do you have when you're having it done, Bobby? When you're choosing your designs?
I think it feels warm, and I really like the colours, how they are done, and they look realistic.
So, are you going to have another one, do you think?
Yeah.
Terry, let's start with you. As a mum, when did it become apparent?
When she was about 3.5. She'd always wanted to dress in girls' clothes and be referred to as a she and her ever since she was tiny, like baby. But yeah, at about 3.5, she started asking questions as to why she was referred to.
And assume, as a mum, as a family, you think that maybe this is a phase?
I don't think I ever actually thought it was a phase.
Really? From that moment on?
Well, it got quite serious quite early, because at the age of 3, Ashton was talking about how to take his bits off.
Yeah.
So at that point, as a parent, you must sit there and go, actually, this is more than
This is a
just
bit more
wanting
than a
to wear
phase and
different
dresses,
clothes.
yeah.
But was it something that you thought, hang on a second, there may be something other than, you know, that obviously very young, that there may be something more to
Yeah, something more than just dressing up, or initially thought that Ash was a gay male.
You changed schools?
We did. We moved 100 miles, yeah.
And that didn't help matters?
Not really. No, we should have stayed where we was and faced it head on, really.
Well, the trouble is there was a lot of bullying going on, and then you moved to another school, and then in that school where nobody knows, you have a huge secret to keep.
It was a bit much for her to keep the secret. She wanted to tell everybody, but was worried that nobody would like her after they found out.
So it became better to actually go back where everybody knew who she was.
Yep.
And that was easier. And what was great, though, about the school was that it was them that referred you to the Tavistock Clinic.
Yeah.
So great understanding from the school themselves.
They're excellent. They've been great.
And did that make a big difference then? I guess the support that you got from them for all of you, not just for Ashley, must have been huge.
Yeah, it was.
So Rachel, for you, very similar situation here. Matt was born Matilda, and again, at the age of 2, very much identified as being male.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from a very young age, as soon as they can start making decisions and become their own little people in terms of what they like to wear, what they don't like to wear. Matt was always adamant that he didn't want to wear dresses. We actually went down the medical route first, so we were referred to genetics, and they did some tests to actually see whether or not Matt was intersex, because he was displaying such strong sort of, you know, masculine tendencies that we needed to eliminate the possibility that could be. It is very rare, but we went down that route first, and it was only after that that CAMS referred us then to the Tavistock Centre.
It requires, as a parent, it requires a very open mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, very open. And, you know, at the end of the day, Matt is a child, and I have to remember that Matt's a child, and to make those very big decisions with Matt about his future was very difficult for me, because, you know, at some point you have to intervene, and then obviously nature becomes nurture in a way, because you make a decision that's going to change their possible path. But
you medically intervene.
you do. I don't think Matt's ever had a choice, and even now when I say, you know that you were born a girl, it's no, I was born a boy.
Yeah. So again, like Phil just said, having an open mind as a parent, but also helping to open the minds of others. And I guess that's what's brilliant about this documentary, is because it's just putting it out there and telling a very honest story from 2 children and other children involved in the programme. Also, is that why you were part of it?
Yeah, definitely.
And do you think that it was a brave step? I mean, obviously you want to talk about it openly, but then to put your own child forward to be the one to do that, especially as she's struggled with bullying at school before. I mean, it's even more brave, I think, for her.
I'm so proud of her for doing it. So proud of her. She's amazing, really.
And welcome 2 very brave people here. and actually, you just, as you've said yourself, you want to help others.
Yeah, I want to help others express how they feel in life.
Yeah. And do you think it will make a difference?
Yeah, I think it will help people understand what transgender is all about and have fun, because you only live once and you're only young once.
Yeah. And so you don't look back. You just look forward to a new you.
Yeah, to future.
I think you're amazing. I think you both are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, a lot of people will say, 3.5 is too young. You can't possibly know at that age.
Well, I guess it's a process, and it's accepting how young people feel at each stage of their lives. And I think one of the things in this area is, you know, the outcomes are not always certain, and young people are developing over time. And I suppose one of the things is that we work together with families over time, supporting young people to have as much opportunity, really, to explore their feelings, to understand the implications of the decisions they might choose to make around physical intervention.
But there will always be those children who will hold their hands up and say, you know, hang on a second, actually this is a mistake, I've made a mistake here, and I want to go back. So you've got to be very careful at the steps you take to make sure there is always a route back.
That's absolutely true. And I guess until, you know, around the age of 16, where it's possible for young people to elect to take cross-sex hormones, you know, there is always the possibility of going back. And I think, you know, you've made a really important point, because I think the challenge for all of us is how we fully accept, support young people, but at the same time leave room for them to develop their own ideas about where they want to go. And some of them indeed may choose to change.
Thanks for watching. Click here for more This Morning videos.
When did you first notice that Bessie was behaving differently around Philippa?
I noticed about 3 or 4 days that her behaviour had changed from just being a normal dog about the house to almost a panic. The look on her face, her expression had changed, and it was a look of concern, and you could almost, looking back on it, you could see that she was trying to tell something was wrong, but you don't think.
So at
like
the
that,
time, what did you think? Like, what's the matter? Does she want to go out? Does she, you know, does she need to...
She thought there was more likely something wrong with the dog than there actually was with Philippa.
Yeah. I just thought she might be going into season, or she was just getting, you know, the airs of spring, and I didn't know.
And was she fussing around Philippa, or do you think she was trying to tell you something?
Initially, she was more fussing around everywhere we went. She was tripping us over wherever Philippa was. So she was fussing more around Philippa. And then it wasn't until the Monday when she'd got really poorly that I noticed how scared she looked. You could see the whites of her eyes, and that was when I realised.
She's trying to tell you something she wants her to.
Let's bring the doctor in at this stage to sort of diagnose what we're seeing here. I mean, this is all amazing for us to hear about, but for you, what's your take on what we're hearing?
Well, you're right, it sounds almost too good to believe, doesn't it? But what we know now, after many years of these anecdotes and having investigated it with the charity, is that dogs with their incredible sense of smell, I mean, you and I can smell probably a teaspoon of sugar in a cup of tea. This little dog could smell a teaspoon of sugar in 2 Olympic swimming pools, just to give you some perspective on it. And what we now know is that cancer smells different, cancer cells divide differently, and they smell different, and dogs can detect this change. What we don't quite understand is why a dog that lives in a family might know that this is something to warn the family about, and that's really, really interesting. But what's happened here is this dog with an incredibly strong bond with his family has actually warned them about this threat, this change in odour that meant something awful was about to happen.
And was it based on Bessie's behaviour that you thought, do you know what, something is not right here? Did you take her to the vet, or did you take Philippa to the doctor?
Initially I knew she had a bit of a fever, Philippa, so I'd taken a temperature, but because the dog was behaving so weird, after I'd give Pippa some paracetamol, I would have expected the temperature to go back down, but because of her, I went and took her temperature again, noticed it was going up. It wasn't extreme, but I noticed it was going up, not down. So that was when I phoned the emergency doctors, and I told them that the dog was behaving peculiar. And the doctor phoned me back and said, bring her up.
Really?
And he'd had experience of this before, so he recognised straight away that there was something wrong.
So what did they diagnose then in Philippa?
She's got...
It's acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And we got that diagnosis pretty much within 24 hours of taking some blood samples.
Which is a massive shock.
Terrible shock.
Oh, it was, yes.
Terrible shock.
But
she's having treatment, still having treatment at the moment.
She is, yes.
So chemotherapy.
From start to end, it lasts 2 years for a girl, 3 years for a boy.
Now that she is having treatment, has Bessie changed in that behaviour? now that it has been detected?
Yeah, she has. She's not... I think when there's certain chemotherapies that they're doing, because you go through a different regime, she does behave differently towards her on the different ones, but she hasn't got that panic ever since she went into remission when the leukemia cells are actually beaten back. She's calmed down a lot, but she's still...
very protective.
It's an amazing story. Dr. Clare's heard them before. What would you say, Dr. Clare, to anybody who is noticing within their family environment their dog behaving in the way that we've heard that Bessie behaved?
Well, as you say, dogs behave differently for a lot of reasons. They may be unwell themselves or something might frighten them. But if a family notice a real persistent difference or change in behaviour with this sort of, becoming very, very attentive, then it could be worth checking it out. I mean, I had my own life saved as well. I had Daisy, my own dog, who saved my life from breast cancer. And I've actually just written a book called Daisy's Gift, and that's all about this story and how we've developed it from now. And, obviously, everything your dog does doesn't mean you're unwell. But I think, as you said, your doctor recognised or heard a story about this. Doctors are now starting to take this seriously. So if there's a big change in your dog, it may be worth finding out why.
Well, I know Philippa's been a very brave girl. She's 3 tomorrow, isn't she? It's her birthday tomorrow, so we've got her a gift. It's a very large gift of a beautiful doll's house, actually. But then we've got the dolls to give her now. Whoops. It's so big.
Bessie wants them.
Yeah. Oh. There she is. This is a doll.
For you.
Oh, you're fed up with us. Yeah, you're fed up with us now. I know.
Everything's yak. It's not really yak. It's just...
No, well, you can maybe play with those tomorrow when you're feeling a bit better, my darling. And
we wish you well. We wish you well, and I hope everything's okay, guys. And big hugs. Bye-bye, Philippa.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
See ya.
sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel. At what point did you think, no, this has gone beyond now?
Just when every single day he woke up and he had more and more and more arriving, like on his face, he would just have like them on top of each other. So I obviously then thought that night, this is not, his temperature was up to 41 degrees.
Look at him. He's dropped his teddy. Can someone pick his...
Sorry.
For us? No, it's all right.